When I first met Luke, he wasn't the type of man I'd usually go for. He was short, barely taller than me in flats, and his hair was already thinning at the crown though he was only 31. He had a wiry frame, not the kind you imagine wrapping you up in strong arms, and when he laughed, he pushed his glasses up with one finger like an awkward kid at a spelling bee. If I'm being honest, if I'd seen him on a dating app, I would have swiped left without thinking twice. But in real life, in the right moment, things don't feel that black and white. We met through mutual friends at a trivia night, and while he wasn't flashy, he was kind. He bought drinks for the whole table, cracked clever jokes that made me laugh harder than I expected, and when I got an answer wrong, he didn't make fun of me like most guys would have. He just smiled and explained it gently. Later that night, he offered me a ride home because it was raining. His car was clean, new, and smelled faintly of leather and cedar. I noticed the watch on his wrist, sleek and understated, the kind that costs more than most people's rent. He didn't flaunt it, but I noticed. And a thought popped into my head that I hate admitting now: he might not be my type, but he's stable. He's safe. He has money. That counts for something, doesn't it? I grew up watching my mom struggle with bills, listening to her cry at night when the lights got cut off, or when she had to choose between paying rent or buying groceries. I told myself I would never end up like her, chained to a man who promised the world but couldn't provide even half of it. So when Luke asked me out on a second date, I said yes, not just because I liked him, but because I saw the life he could give me. Dinners at real restaurants, vacations, a house with central air and a mortgage instead of rent. Security. That mattered more than abs or a full head of hair. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. And in time, I really did start to fall for him. He was thoughtful, always putting my needs first. He remembered small things. My favorite tea, the way I liked my toast cut diagonally, the fact that I hated the sound of ticking clocks. He planned weekends away, surprised me with flowers, introduced me to his family who welcomed me with open arms. We moved in together after a year, and I told myself it was everything I wanted. A stable man, a comfortable life, no chaos, no wondering if the rent would be late. But sometimes, late at night, I'd look at him asleep next to me and feel a pang of something I couldn't name. Was it guilt? Regret? I don't know. Because as much as I cared for him, there was always this little voice whispering in the back of my mind: if he lost the money, would you have chosen him? And I never liked the answer. The night it all fell apart started like nothing. My sister Emma came over. We opened a bottle of wine, sprawled on the couch, laughing the way sisters do. Luke had just finished dinner with us and excused himself to the office to finish some late-night work. I thought he was gone for hours. I thought he couldn't hear us. Emma asked, "Do you really see yourself with him long-term? Like, are you actually attracted to him?" She wrinkled her nose, the way sisters do when they're fishing for brutal honesty. And I laughed. I shouldn't have, but I did. I said, honestly? Not really. He's short, he's almost bald, and he's kind of tiny. He's not exactly a dreamboat. But he's stable, Emma. He's responsible. He has money. I'd rather choose someone boring and safe than end up broke with a hot guy who can't keep a job. I'm not going to suffer like Mom did. At least with Luke, I know the bills will always be paid. Emma snorted into her glass, and I laughed harder, thinking it was just between us. I thought it was harmless venting, just words tossed into the air that would vanish with the wine buzz. But then I heard it. A floorboard creaked in the hallway. I turned and saw Luke standing there, frozen, holding a stack of papers in his hand. His face was pale, his jaw tight, eyes wide like he'd just been slapped. I felt the blood drain from my body. Luke. I started, but he held up his hand. I don't want to hear it, he said, voice low but shaking. He set the papers down on the counter, walked into the bedroom, and closed the door. Emma looked at me, stunned, her mouth half open. I felt sick. My chest tightened until I couldn't breathe. I knocked on the bedroom door. Luke, please, it was just stupid girl talk. I didn't mean it like that. You know I love you. He opened the door just enough to look at me. His eyes were wet, but his expression was hard. So I'm just, what? A wallet to you? A safe bet? Someone you settled for because I'm stable? No, I said quickly. That's not true. You mean more to me than that. I was just venting. I was just trying to sound funny for Emma. He shook his head. I don't think you realize what you've done. I thought I was your partner. I thought I was enough for you. And now I know I was just convenient. I reached for him, but he stepped back. Luke, please, don't do this. You're twisting it. I didn't mean it. But deep down, I knew he wasn't twisting anything. He'd just said out loud what I'd been too afraid to admit to myself. I had chosen him because he was safe. Because he could give me the kind of life I craved. And even if I'd grown to love him, the seed of that truth poisoned everything. He slept on the couch that night. I barely slept at all, my stomach knotted, my head pounding. In the morning, I woke up to the sound of drawers opening and closing. He was packing. Luke, please, I begged, tears streaming down my face. Don't leave. We can fix this. We can go to therapy. I'll prove to you that I love you for you, not for what you have. He zipped up a suitcase and looked at me one last time. You shouldn't have to prove that. I should have always known it. But now I don't. And I don't think I ever will again. Then he walked out the door, suitcase rolling behind him, and Daisy, our dog, ran after him, whining at the door after it clicked shut. I collapsed on the floor, sobbing, clutching the rug like it could hold me together. Emma tried to comfort me, but what could she say? I had spoken the truth, even if I tried to hide it later. I had reduced the man who had loved me, cared for me, and built a life with me into a checklist of stability and income. And he had overheard every word. Now the apartment feels colder than ever. His side of the bed is empty, his laugh is gone, and the silence is deafening. I scroll through my phone, staring at pictures of us on trips, at dinners, holding hands in little moments that felt like love. And maybe they were. But they weren't enough to erase the truth of why I chose him in the first place. I thought choosing stability meant I'd won. I thought I was smarter than my mom, avoiding the pain of financial struggle. But what I really did was gamble away something priceless, trust. And once trust is gone, it doesn't matter how stable someone is. They won't stay. Now Luke is gone. And all I have left is the bitter knowledge that I pushed away a man who gave me everything because I couldn't keep my own cruel words inside.